why only humans are safe from alien assassins. The Assassins' Guild had operated for 3,000 years. Every species, every planet, every target eventually neutralized. Their success rate was 99.7%. The 0.3% failure rate? All human targets. Every single one. Guildmaster Velkresh convened an emergency council. Explain this. He projected the failed contracts across the chamber. 47 human targets over the past decade. 47 failures. 17 operatives lost. 8 permanently disabled. 22 in psychological recovery. He looked at his senior assassins. We are the galaxy's premier elimination service. How are we failing against a species that can't even see in infrared? Silence. Then Operative Ketharal, the only agent to survive a human contract, stood slowly. I'll tell you why, he said, voice hollow. Because humans are impossible to assassinate. Ketharal activated his mission logs. Target, Marcus Chen, human diplomat, standard infiltration protocol. I studied him for 6 weeks, mapped his routines, identified optimal strike windows. Images appeared, surveillance footage, Chen walking to work, eating lunch, reading in parks. Day 1 of active engagement. I approach his residence at 300, optimal entry point, 3rd floor window, unlocked, no security system. He paused. The window was trapped, with something called a shotgun. Apparently, humans rig their own homes with projectile weapons triggered by unauthorized entry. Murmurs rippled through the council. I lost my left arm, had to abort. Operative Shenva spoke next. Target, Dr. Sarah Okonkwo, medical researcher, minimal security detail. I posed as a patient to gain access. She pulled up her files. Humans have this thing called intuition. Dr. Okonkwo looked at me once, and said I seemed off. Then called security. Not because she detected my weapons, not because my cover was flawed. Shenva's mandibles trembled. She said my vibe was wrong. What is a vibe? Unknown, Velkresh admitted. Continue. I was detained, searched, and expelled from the facility. When I attempted secondary approach, her security had already upgraded. Somehow they anticipated my methods before I'd even finalized them. The testimonies continued. Operative Threnval. Target had a dog, a domesticated predator species they keep as companions. The creature detected my presence from 200 meters and wouldn't stop alerting. Humans apparently trust these animals' judgment implicitly. Operative Kreshisha. I poisoned the target's food supply. 3 different compounds, all undetectable by standard analysis. The human ate it, experienced digestive discomfort, and continued working. Their biology just processed the toxins. Operative Velthi. I cornered my target in an alley, unarmed, alone, no witnesses, easy elimination. What happened? She had something called pepper spray. My optical systems are still being reconstructed. Guildmaster Velkresh reviewed the accumulated data. Let me summarize. Humans trap their own homes. They have domesticated predators that sense threats. Their bodies resist standard poisons. They carry concealed defensive weapons. They possess unexplainable threat detection capabilities. He looked at his counsel. And there's more, isn't there? Ketharal nodded grimly. They expect assassination attempts constantly, even when no threat exists. Explain. On Earth, humans developed entertainment called thrillers and murder mysteries. They spend their leisure time analyzing how they would be targeted and how they would survive. He pulled up human media files. They have thousands of fictional works about assassination, conspiracy, and survival. They practice being paranoid as a cultural pastime. The council sat in stunned silence. They train themselves, Velkresh said slowly, to expect threats that don't exist. And when threats do exist, Ketharal continued, they're already prepared. They've mentally rehearsed dozens of scenarios. They know where the exits are. They know who looks suspicious. They know how to fight back. He displayed a final statistic. Humans have a phrase. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. They've built entire psychological frameworks around justified suspicion. The Guild convened for a vote. The motion, formally classify human targets as prohibited contracts. The vote, unanimous. 3 months later, the classification leaked to the galactic intelligence community. Ambassador Chen, the same diplomat Ketharal had failed to eliminate, received a briefing. The Assassins' Guild has officially declared humans unviable targets, his aide reported, barely containing amusement. Chen set down his coffee. Really? Why? They listed 17 reasons. Booby-trapped residences, unpredictable intuition, domesticated attack animals, poison resistance, concealed weapons, threat awareness training through fictional media. The aide pulled up the document. They also mentioned something called Florida Man. Florida Man? Apparently, Guild researchers discovered news reports from a specific Earth region where humans regularly accomplish physically impossible things while intoxicated or endangered. They cited it as evidence that human survival capabilities exceed all predictive models. Chen laughed so hard he nearly choked. That evening, he called his mother. "Ma, you'll never guess what happened today." "What, sweetheart?" "An alien assassin guild put humans on their do not target list. Apparently, we're too paranoid and weird to eliminate safely." His mother's response was immediate. "Well, obviously. Did they try to come through the windows? I keep telling you, always rig the windows." "Ma, do you have your windows rigged?" "Of course. Learned it from your grandmother. And don't forget to vary your walking routes. Predictability gets people neutralized." Chen stared at his phone. "Ma, were you a spy?" "Don't be ridiculous. I'm a retired school teacher." She paused. But even school teachers should be prepared. The Guild's prohibition stood for centuries. Human diplomats traveled the galaxy with unprecedented safety. Human merchants conducted business without fear. Human tourists wandered through territories where assassination was a standard political tool. All untouchable. Not because they were protected by treaties or military might, but because one species had spent its entire evolutionary history preparing for threats, real and imagined, until preparation became instinct. They slept with weapons nearby. They trusted animals over technology. They consumed entertainment that taught them to think like targets. And they came from a planet where Florida Man was considered normal. Guildmaster Velcresh filed his final report on human viability. Recommendation: avoid all contracts. Irreducible risk factors include biological resilience, environmental paranoia, cultural threat preparation, and something called spite, the human tendency to survive specifically because someone wanted them not to. Assessment: humans are not protected from assassins. They are simply better at being paranoid than we are at being invisible. Closing note: do not engage, do not attempt, do not underestimate. Find different targets. Humans aren't worth it.